Welcome to The Deep Dive. Today we're diving into something, well, you encounter every single day, images. But we're going deeper than just, looking at pictures.
Right, yeah.
It's image studies. Honestly, I gotta admit, even I didn't know this was like a real field until we got this request.
It's probably more common than you think. I mean, we're constantly bombarded with images, right? Wake up, scroll on our phones before bed.
Oh, yeah.
But image studies, it's not just looking at them. It's like, how do they work? What do they mean? How do they influence us without even realizing it?
Okay, so unpack this for us. We've got this academic text, and it goes deep, like deep into what an image even is. Seems simple at first, but
Right.
like imagine a painting, right? But it's in a dark, locked vault. No one's looking at it. Is it still an image?
Exactly, the kind of question image studies wrestles with. It's not just, ooh, pretty art. It's about the power images have, whether we get it or not. And it's not just like physical images either.
Okay.
Thoughts, dreams, even, hallucinations can be images too.
Wait, so daydreams count? My brain is like officially blown.
Might sound weird, but think about it. Mental images, they shape how we see the world, just as much as a photo or a painting would.
Good point. I'm seeing how deep this rabbit hole goes. So like, how do experts even approach something this big?
Well, our source lays out three main ways, kind of. First is focusing on one image really deeply, like analyzing a single painting.
So super close up, all the tiny details.
Yeah, exactly. Then you can zoom out, look at a group of works, start comparing, contrasting, like how did Impressionists use light? How did Renaissance artists show religious figures?
Okay, so that's level 2, finding the connections between images. What's third?
That's where things get really juicy. It's understanding the very concept of an image. What makes something an image? How do they relate to reality? And like, how do we even define image when it's everything from cave paintings to like memes?
Whoa, okay, yeah. Now I see why this is a whole field. It's not just the pretty pictures, it's how they, like, make us understand the world. Even our own thoughts. So how did this field even start? Seems pretty broad.
Started with, traditional art, painting, sculptures, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But then technology changed. New media popped up. Image studies had to adapt. Went from oil on canvas to, bam, photos. Then film. Now it's digital art, VR, even how those filters on social media mess with, like, how we see ourselves.
So it just keeps getting bigger. We're barely scratching the surface here.
Oh, for sure. That's what makes it exciting. Always changing, adapting to how we make and see images. Like hitting a moving target, the very definition of image keeps growing.
Okay, so how do you define an image with all this variety?
That's the tricky part. The textbook has this interesting example it asks. A totally black canvas, is it still an image if it's not showing anything? Or a blurry photo, is it still an image even if you can't tell what it is? Really makes you think about what we assume an image is.
That's a mind bender. I mean, I can barely describe a regular image to someone. Imagine trying to do it to someone who's, like, been blind since birth. How do you even start without using visuals?
It really shows how complex this idea of image is.
Makes you realize images aren't just, like, passive things, right? We look at them, but they're actually shaping how we understand things.
Absolutely. That's where this idea of artificial presence comes in. Even though we know, like, logically, an image is just a representation,
Right.
it can still feel like you're really there, experiencing something real.
Oh, like how a photo can make you all nostalgic even though it's just a moment in time captured.
Exactly. Or a painting can, like, transport you somewhere else, even if it's from centuries ago. That's the power of images, transcending time and space.
Wow, yeah. I'm starting to see images everywhere now, not just art, but ads, social media, our homes. It's like our whole world is images.
And they all have different purposes,
Yeah.
right? Some inform, some persuade, some are just for fun. Image studies helps us see through that, understand how they work on us.
So it's not just what we see, but how we see it and what's around it.
Exactly. Same image can mean totally different things to different people. Background, experiences, even just your mood at that moment.
Makes me think, how different would the same image be if it was a different medium? Like a painting of a sunflower versus a photo. Both sunflowers, but the feeling's different.
Great point. The medium is huge in how we experience an image. Think, seeing a movie on a big screen in a theater versus on your tiny phone. Same images, totally different experience.
Like the medium's a filter, almost, on how we see it.
Yeah, exactly. Then you add in culture, personal stuff, our moods. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But that's what makes image studies so cool. It's not about one right answer. It's about how all these things come together when we look at an image.
So with all that, How do experts even make sense of it?
Well, remember those three approaches. Single image, group, then the concept of image. Those are just the start. Image studies uses tools from all over. You got art historians looking at brushstrokes, sociologists studying how ads make us buy stuff, psychologists figuring out how mental images work in our memories.
So it's like a big toolbox borrowing from everywhere.
Exactly. That's why it's always changing, evolving. New perspectives, new methods, new layers to uncover.
Sounds like you got to be open-minded in this field, huh? Can't just come in with your own ideas about what an image is.
Right. Question everything. Your own ideas, what the creator wanted, where the image is being seen. It's about thinking critically, challenging how we see the world.
Okay, back to the text. It mentions mental images, how they're important for how we think, remember things, even our sense of self. But how do you study something that's only in someone's head? You can't, like, put a daydream under a microscope.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And researchers are still working on it. We've got brain imaging. It shows what parts of the brain light up when we imagine stuff. But capturing how it feels, the emotions, connections, what it means to you, that's way harder to measure.
It's like describing a dream. You get the basic idea, but you can never really explain what it felt like to be in it.
Right. It's fascinating but hard to grasp. Really shows how much we still don't know about images, both inside and out, and how they shape us.
Okay, so we've covered, like, how to even study images, the different types of images, even how our own thoughts can be images. But what's the, like, takeaway for us regular folks?
Right, the big question, right? I think what we should really get is don't underestimate images. They're not just decoration. They actually shape, what we think, what we believe, even how we act.
It's like we're swimming in images all the time, but we don't even notice the, like, current they're creating.
Exactly. A powerful photo, it can change how people think about stuff. Or, a good ad can make you want something you never even knew existed. Images work on us, like, deep down.
So we can't just, like, passively look at them. We got to be more critical, aware of the messages they have.
Yeah, it's like building up image literacy,
Yeah.
like learning to read and write, but for images. Decoding that visual language, the tricks they use to persuade us, make us feel stuff, push certain ideas.
Like a whole new way of seeing.
Totally. And like any skill, the more you do it, the better you get.
Hmm.
You start noticing things you missed before, questioning your own assumptions, seeing things, well, more clearly.
So if we're all drowning in images all day, does that mean we're all just, like, being manipulated?
Not necessarily. Images can be good too, right? Think about photography, how it can show injustice, get people caring about the environment, help us understand different cultures.
So it's not about saying all images are bad, it's about recognizing they can be both.
Yeah, exactly. That's what image studies helps with. When we understand how they work, we can use them better, more ethically, whether we're making them or just looking at them.
We're all kind of image makers now, right? Even just posting pics online. We're adding to this, like, giant visual world that's shaping everyone.
Exactly. That's a huge idea. It
Yeah.
means we got to be responsible. Think about the images we put out there and what they might do.
This has been, wow, really eye-opening. I'm looking at everything differently now.
Glad to hear it. It's been fun diving into this with you.
So to our listener who requested this deep dive on image studies, hope you got something out of it. Remember, images are, well, more than meets the eye. They can inform, persuade, inspire, even manipulate.
Build up that image literacy. You'll be a smarter viewer. And hey, maybe even use images yourself to make a positive difference.
That's all for this deep dive. Until next time, keep your eyes open, minds engaged, and remember, question everything you see.